because it does represent an actual population that has an evolutionary basis for remaining cohesive. And I should point out, there's a danger when you hear an evolutionary biologist talk about evolutionary patterns. People often infer that
in terms of feeling where your body is tense, for instance. You'll sometimes notice either a sort of pain in the neck or the shoulder, or maybe you just sense numbness. You just sense that, my right shoulder is a little more numb or sort of blacked out than my left shoulder. So just sit for a moment. Again, we got about 2 minutes as people start to wander in. And I'm just kind of yapping, but really what I'm trying to do is, and I'm watching you guys, I'm trying to see who's catching on to what I'm saying, where maybe you close your eyes and you start going into that zone. So it's not really about what I'm saying, because what I'm saying is sort of stop listening to what I'm saying for a moment and start looking in towards your own breath, your own body. Notice, do you want to move a little bit? Do you want to lean or lift a shoulder or turn your head and neck? So I'm just going to mute everybody now, and we're recording. And so we're sitting in our chair to start, and we want to scoot to the front edge of that chair rather than be sitting way back in it and sort of collapsing in our pelvis. We want to be sitting at the edge and feeling those two bones, the ischial tuberosities, or the sits bones that you feel plugging down into the ground. And you notice on those ischial tuberosities or sits bones, you can rock. You can tip more forward. You can tip back. And when you do that, ripple effects through the spine occur. And so there's like an ideal position in terms of if we were just going to sit and meditate for a while, crown above the floor of the pelvis and slightly to the front edge of your ischial tuberosities. But again, we are built to move. We're not built to be stagnant. So even when we're being still, quote unquote still, that means you can still tip back because it feels good to open up your low back and then tip forward. It means you can also lift your chin and look up because you notice that, oh, I'm always looking down like this, so probably a good idea to do the opposite and lift. And just noticing, oh, my neck feels a little stiffness. I'm going to drop my ear to the other shoulder just for a moment and let it just rest there. The whole while on an inner level, I'm still, right? I'm meditating. That doesn't mean I have to hold myself rigid. I can let my body talk. I can let my nervous system express itself as I'd like. So let's just be here another maybe 2 minutes, breathing in, breathing out. And you'll notice maybe I'll be doing some movements that are appropriate for my body, right? My hip feels a little tight, so I may walk my leg out a little bit. That doesn't mean that's appropriate for you. It's an idea. But what's appropriate for your body is something your body is telling you. Where do you feel stuck, stagnant, right? Maybe it just feels, maybe you're low energy and it feels good to just rub your face and rub your head a little bit, right? We've done that in previous classes, self-massage. So that point I was making at the beginning of don'ting, of not doing, sorry, I just received a phone call, of not doing external activities like taking care of business, not sitting and thinking about too much. All of a sudden we arrive in the present moment, we breathe with some more interest in that quality of breath, and suddenly our hands, because they have the ability to heal, they maybe rub the knees or rub the hip or something that just feels good. We're starting to shift ourselves in the direction of rejuvenation, of healing, that direction. So this is our birthright that many people don't engage with. This birthright of using breath, movement, the ability for the hands to be healing entities, that we use it on ourselves, right? And so reclaiming this birthright, if you will, all starts to occur when we stop all the doing outside and we just reclaim this present moment. We reclaim our tissue and our skin and our muscle. We reclaim our bones and feel what we feel. We reclaim our brain and nervous system connectivity. We reclaim our breath. This option we have to just take a long, decadent inhale and hold it. And then let that breath out slow and smooth because it's just so relaxing to do so. And then inhale again when it's time. So we come into this state of, I'll use the word yoga because it's, a different tradition, but what yoga means is a state of unification. There's a power in unifying body presence, breath awareness. The mind is not doing and thinking other things, but it's here and now. And suddenly we arrive more fully in our bodies in the present moment. And then a power is awakened within us when we do that. All the traditions talk about it, from India to China, Japan, all the ancient civilizations, all talk about this, like, bring yourself to the present and then actively engage. So final 30 seconds, breath long and smooth. Now, if the eyes are closed, gently open. Keep that breath long, smooth, and thorough. Take your hands together in front of you and rub. Friction, but don't press too hard, just kind of a soft connection and just rub them together. Then take left hand and start rubbing outer right hand, outer right forearm, outer right upper arm. So we're just waking up our bodies, shoulder, upper back. And then as you're on your upper back, take this right hand behind your left elbow and pull it across so you can really rub your back muscles in between the shoulder blade. And then in a nice smooth gesture all the way down. And then we go to the inner portion. So now we're rubbing inner upper arm. If you can, reach your arm up to the sky as you rub the inner upper arm, and then get to the armpit. If you can, drop that right hand over top just to stretch along the side of the body. You might even lean just a little bit to your left as you rub down that right side of the body, and then in a smooth gesture all the way back out. And then let's do the other arm. So rub outer fingertips to wrist, outer wrist to elbow, elbow to shoulder, shoulder to upper shoulder and back, and then get behind that elbow and rub all those muscles right between shoulder blade and spine. And then smooth it all the way out. Now the inner portion, reaching up as you rub, reaching higher, dropping that hand over top, leaning just a little bit as you rub the side of the body. And reverse all the way out. Now, rub the wrist and hand. So notice the technique I'm using. I'm grabbing on both sides and turning, loosening up tension through the hand bones. Switch sides, grabbing and turning. So I'm turning the hand that's in the hand, I'm turning the hand that's being massaged as well. right? So there we go. We loosened up the hands. Now, rub the hands again. Take the hands onto the back of your neck, and from the base of the neck up to the base of the skull, rub up, 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 up. Then hold one hand against the base of your skull and use your other hand to rub sideways along the side of your neck and down the neck. And then switch side and down. Then use your thumbs right up at that ridge line, right along the ridge, right where your skull and neck meet, and define that ridge, right? So it's like digging in this channel here. We're just cleaning out that channel. Then take your fingers and run the dragon through the weeds. Run the dragon through the weeds. One more, run it through. And release. Now, forehead, you got your center line. We want that spread open. So take your hands and pressing, sweep across the temples all the way back. So put a little bit of pressure from the palm of your hand and run it along the side to clear out. So when you do it with both, you're actually decompressing the front brain and the sinuses. One more. Clear. Just notice how good that feels when you spend the time to do it. Same thing from bridge of nose up and over. So bridge of nose along your cheekbones, up and over. Remember, your cranium is all of these sutured skull plates that can be compressed or they can be open and fluid, and you know, it's maybe millimeters of openness or not, but it makes a big difference when we're feeling compressed versus open, right? And then from there, your ears. So let me just show you the techniques. Place the hand over the ear and then press and sort of squish the cartilage of the ear into the side of the head, and then do it again. So like a circular motion. And again, if you have hearing aids in, that can be a problem. So you just pass on this one, but so you do both. So the idea here is your whole palm pressing and squishing the ear, and then under, and you do it again. So it's really about the ear. One more. And now we've got index finger behind the ear, middle finger in front. Rub up and down the root of the ear. And then, like scissor cuts, circle and cut at the ear. So now you're massaging the whole dish on both sides. All right. And then the jaw, finally the jaw muscles, right? All these muscles that bunch up here. Drop the jaw as you massage down. Jaw. All the way down the throat to the collarbones. One more. Jaw. All the way down. And we're at the collarbones. Now, lung point 1 and 2, this little crux point here, this little divot. So right arm in a internal rotation, round yourself slightly and run the hand, do this little circle massage right into lung point 1 and 2. So these are all acupuncture points. Heart point 1, right on the side ribs, circle rub there. And it's not in the armpit, it's below. You can feel sort of a sensitive spot right there. That's the heart point. And then come under the chest, up the middle of the chest, and then clear the arm with this squeeze. This is a lymphatic drain technique. We're cleaning out the lymph system all the way to the fingertips. Switch. Lung point 1 and 2. So left arm like so, slightly rounded, circle rub. It's called row in Chinese massage. You press and then circle, circle, circle. And outer rib cage. This is also one of the benefits of this. Go ahead, under, up, and do that lymph squeeze clear. One of the benefits here is that some of you are finding it's hard to actually tell your hand to go where you want it to go. So think of this also like, you know, you're doing archery, you're doing target practice. by trying to put the hands where you see me putting them. That's a great challenge for your brain. All right, now we take the hands along the, where were we? We just finished the arm. Oh yeah, so rub your hands again. Got that warmth there. Place one on your center chest, other over the top of the center chest. Go vertical, up and down, the whole chest. So notice what I'm doing. Like some of you, Bruce, for instance, I see you going like this, but not this. Run your hands up the chest, down the chest. Yeah, there you go. Good. So that, really try to see if you can. Hopefully the screen is big enough that you can see what I'm doing and really pay attention. Now, up at the top, go out, down, in across the front ribs, and up again. So we're making this circle right around our chest. So with your hands on your body, notice I'm rubbing my body. My palms are pressing into my tissue. Good. And then switch directions. Come up and in, around the chest. So this is lungs and heart. And stop right on the solar plexus and circle. Circle. Good. And then front rib cage area, this is your liver and your spleen. Getting some massage there. Then tuck your hands around kidneys. Then lower back. Sacrum and tail. Come around to the middle of the belly, that's your stomach. And then down below the stomach to your intestines, right along the navel area. And then we've got legs. Let's do our inner thighs and groin, and inner thighs, fronts of thighs, outer thighs, kind of vigorous, right? Kind of vigorous movement here. Under the thighs, back of the knees, sides of the knees, fronts of the knees. Now, folding at the hips, rounding slightly to go hands down to the shins and ankles. Shins and ankles, calves. And then come around the side of the feet to the inner foot and all the way up and sit. 5 breaths. In the nose. Holding the breath a moment. Out the nose. Four more breaths like that. Taste or feel or sense what your self-massage just did for you. Even if it's just a micro shift in a positive direction, notice that. Notice an area that maybe felt stagnant that is less stagnant. Notice an area that is numb or disconnected that maybe feels just a little bit more awareness, right? And when you do these types of practices regularly, that small shift becomes a large shift over time. Now, opening the eyes if they're closed, from your seated position, tip your pelvis back and round. So exaggerating bad posture for a moment. Slide your hands forward so they go past the kneecaps and drop your chin and open your whole back. And then release that effort and sit back to neutral. And then let's go the other way with it. Tip your pelvis forward so you're sort of arching in the back. Slide hands back, elbows back, lift the chin, look up. And then relax that and settle to neutral. Let's do one more. Rounding. And relax the effort. Arching. And relax the effort. Find neutral. Now our rotation, our twist. Left hand to right knee, right hand to right hip. Turning rib cage, shoulders, head, and neck. Bring out. We're just going to hold this couple moments. We're just going to do one to each side. So you can just breathe freely there, but just wring out those tight muscles, those blocked pathways, and then release. Turn back to center. Other way. Twist. holding it just for a bit, wringing out the rag. Twists also give our organs a nice compress and release. And release and come back to center. Drop the arms alongside you. As if you have water in your right ear, lean to the right. Let that right arm get heavy and long. Left arm light and empty all the way up. Hold this position just for a couple moments. Reaching, pushing the ceiling away, pushing towards the floor. And then drop that left hand all the way down. Let's switch sides. Leaning. So we're getting what's called lateral flexion. We're dropping the sides of the spinal column open on one side. And reverse back to center. From center, right shoulder blade up. And then totally melt it. Left shoulder blade up, totally melt it, let it hang. Both shoulder blades up, and melt, 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 melt all the way down. Again, both up, and down. Now I'm going to turn sideways so you can see. We're just going to do right arm first. Bring your legs close together, so that you have a little more room for this arm. Now bring your right shoulder blade forward and around. So what that does is it causes this position here. This should close off. Then from there, go up and back. And then melt it down and it comes back to neutral. Then again, we go forward and up, back and down. Do that a few times. Rolling. So you get this feeling of a liberated shoulder blade that just moves unobstructed. Switch directions. Back, up, forward and down. And you can see the arm will go along for the ride, but the driver is that shoulder blade. Driver is the shoulder blade. One more. And we switch sides. Forward, up, back and down. Really, with some effort, some mental effort, push your range. So your range of how far forward can you go? How up feels good? How much back can you go? And then how much can you release? And then effort and release that effort. Two more. Circles. Other direction. Circles. So the lovely part of this type of work is that it requires the brain, it requires your mind to be present to actually execute the movement. So it's training the brain and nervous system. Now we'll double up, forward and up, back and down. Add to it a little bit of a lean forward, a lean back. So now we're getting this fluidity in the torso and arms. We're feeling like, oh, I could execute this movement like I'm made of water, which you are. You are made mostly of water. Let's go back, up and over. Notice how my arms roll along. Back, up, forward, down. One more. And back to neutral. Now this one's often a little tricky. Forward, up with the right. Then as the right goes back and down, the left, forward and up. And forward and up. So now they're both moving the whole time. It's not one and then the other, but rather they're doing, one is like a little bit ahead of the other in that it's doing the front half while the other's doing the back half. And then reverse that. Forward and down, forward and down, back and up. So this one often can be thought of as swimming, right? You're just swimming in your own water, in your own fluid. You're swimming, swimming, swimming. And done. Hands on your thighs. Take your left hand to your right thigh. Right arm, dip it into a little vat of liquid and start to draw circles in that liquid. And notice this is not shoulder blade movement now. This is all arm bone in the socket. Circles. Circles. Now, if it feels appropriate, go bigger. And if it feels appropriate even more, sit up and still make these circles. But notice I'm not reaching really, really high. I'm keeping this sort of relaxed, but still drawing a circle in that shoulder socket. And the key is it relaxed? Is it flowing through that movement? Unobstructed, smooth, with no effort. And then let it come back down and hang. Now we're going to do the circle in the other direction. So lean into the water, inward, circle. They can get larger. And then maybe at some point it's appropriate to sit up and circle, circle, circle. I'll turn sideways so you can see. Circle, circle. Notice it's just unobstructed. I didn't switch arms. So I think I saw some of you switch arms. Didn't switch arms. Same arm. And then down. Now we switch arms. Right hand to left knee. Dip over into the water. Circle in the floor. Maybe bigger circles. Possibly sit up. Circle. And I'll turn sideways so you can see I'm drawing a circle on the wall. That's to my left. Draw a big circle. Good. And let it hang. Now inward circles. So we're training our body how to move with this, what the Chinese call sung, sung. Soft, pliable, no need for tension. More like hydraulics. Sit up, circle. So we don't have to clamp down on our body like so many of us do for various reasons why the body is tightening all the time. But as we untighten it, we realize there's this fluid power that emerges. All right, fold at your elbows, compress, and release. And then bounce those elbows. Notice this, bouncing like springs, bounce up and down because they're open. Once more, fold. And then unfold, let them fall, and then feel this open, bouncy quality to your elbows rather than locked or held. No, neither, just soft, pliable. Float your hands up in front, turn your palms down and up. Notice it's the forearms that are turning. I'm not cranking my shoulder joint. That's actually stable, and just my forearm is turning, right? Just the forearm. The wrist is along for the ride, but it's really the forearm bones turning, called pronate and supinate. Then palms up, in and out. Now it's no forearm movement, just wrists. Wrists and fingers. Now, fold at your wrists. Bring the hand down, through, and out. Spin palms up and do it again. Through, 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 through. Notice how when you relax, you can really just fling the body through that space and forward. Now, turn your palms out, drop the hand and bring it through like an offering. Spin. Spin the palm out, right? Like that. And then go through. Boop. Spin. Through. Spin through. Spin through. And then you just get out of the way. Easy, fluid, light, and drop. Swing your arms like so. Notice I'm just swinging. I'm not moving. I'm not stiff and going like a robot. It's nothing. Nothing's in there. Easy. And the whole body can feel that way when you practice Tai Chi. It's really quite a feeling. Now come up with your hands once more and just little sparkling fingers here. Waving fingers. So notice if I do it slow. All right, and then try to move those fingers quick as you can. 1, 2, 1, like you're just sort of tickling something, twiddling something there. And drop. All righty, sit back against the back of your chair. So now you're comfortably back. Chamber your right leg, and then set your right leg down. Chamber, down. Chamber, down. What's different from what's specific about chambering is it's not just hinge at hip, but it's also heel pulling into the buttock. So it's a spring that's loading, and then I'm unloading that spring. Load the spring in, lower that spring down. Now load the spring, express all the way through that heel like a push kick, recompress the spring, set it down. Load the spring, push and express energy through the heel, then reverse that back in and down. Do it again, hands up like a boxer. Chamber, push, chamber, down. Again, chamber, push, chamber, down. Now, chamber, push, and hold. Point, flex, point, flex, point, flex. One more. Evert, invert, foot in, out, in, out, in, out. Now circles, in, point, out, flex, in, point, out, flex. So nice thorough circles. Other directions, circles. And chamber, down, other side. Chamber, push and hold, point, flex, point, flex. Evert, invert, which means a little in, out, out. Then inward circles, through, 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 other way, through, 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 rechamber, and down. Scoot back to the edge of your chair, forward. Lift the ball of your left foot, turn on the heel, open this line up. Lift the heel, turn on the ball of your foot. Now everyone just hold this position for a moment. Looks kind of funny, right? Looks kind of weird. But what is happening is you're actually taking your thigh bone and turning it inward in the hip socket, so the knee should not feel any pain. Now lift the ball of the foot and open from that hip. So now we're turning the hip out. Then we're lifting the heel, swivel, draw that thigh once again into that slightly awkward inward rotation. And then finally open, lifting ball of foot, and even open this opposite leg away. So now you're creating this great stretch to your inner thighs and groin. And then rub that inner left thigh out to the knee, underneath the hamstring. Just really make sure that whole area is open. And then let's walk it back in. So we internally rotate, lift heel, externally rotate, lift ball of foot. Internal, external, neutral, other side. Lift ball of foot, external rotation with the right leg. Lift the heel, swivel, and we'll just spend a little moment here just to feel how the knee is not taking the pain, but you're wringing out this hip socket. Then lift ball of foot, externally rotate. Put ball of foot down, lift heel, internally rotate. Final time, open, and rub that inner right thigh. So get this line open. This prepares us over time for doing horse stance and wide stances as we get stronger and stronger to do this type of stuff standing. Go ahead, internal rotation, external, internal, external, neutral. Now, sitting at the edge of that chair with neutral legs, go ahead and fold forward like you are bowing. Sorry, I get these phone calls, throws off my screen. All right, so now we're hinging at the hip crease like you're bowing and then sitting back up tall. So we're defining pelvic movement over thigh bones. Only that. Then pelvic movement over thigh bones, fold, and then once you're folded, slide the hands down towards your feet and round your back. Open the back. Now stay rounded as you sit back up. So stay rounded and come back up so you feel this lovely open back body. Then lift up to sitting tall and even slightly leaning back as you tip forward. Then once you've tipped all the way forward, round, hang. stay rounded as you come all the way up. So this is a part of a movement called shaking loose the heavenly pillar. Your spine is considered a heavenly pillar. So we're moving from the hips, which is the foundation of the pillar, but we're letting the 24 vertebra sort of waving, right? So as you go forward, you're arched back, but then as you finish, you round. Now, when you come up, it's key to stay rounded forward as you come up, and then let that spine lift. And again, fold and let the spine round. One more time. All the way up. And then settle to the middle. Couple breaths. Sometimes that can be a little lightheadedness comes from that. But this movement like this, we got to get this back in our body versus stiff and rigid, right? That doesn't work. That doesn't last, but we can reclaim that softness. Now, step your feet wide apart. Turn your hands inward, fingers on the inner thighs. And just notice that you can fold forward between your legs, and you can sit back up. So you have that movement. Now the dragon stirs the sea with its tail. Lean to your right and turn your chest a little bit right. Lean forward like you're trying to put your chest on your right knee. And then sweep the chest through in this folded position. And then lean all the way back. So you're stirring. Now picture your big dragon tail in the sea and stir the sea. So now we're coming down and through, and we're stirring the ocean with this tail, leaning back and stirring. One more time around in this direction. Lean, sweep it through, and back. Other direction. So it's leaning forward, sweeping through. Large motions help us define our brain-body connection. So we're getting this feeling of, wow, I have a center, and yet I don't have to lose my center, and I can move in these grand, massive gestures. And yet I still feel centered. Come back to middle. Walk those feet all the way together. Rest your arms alongside you. Float the arms up to T position, and then back down. Float them forward up to shoulder height position, and back down. Now float them out to the side. Turn the arms, palms face up. Go the rest of the way. All the way up. So now once we are here, you're going to reach your right fingertips another 2-3 inches up by moving at the shoulder blade. This is called upward rotation of the shoulder blade, and then melting it down. And then left side, upward rotation of shoulder blade, and back down. Let's do 2 more to each side. Reach with that right arm, reach. What's your maximum edge? And then melt. Left side, reach. Get that arm straight, get the shoulder blade moving, and down. 1 more each side. Left side. And both at the same time, reach. Extra. And then melting, sweeping, lowering, hanging. Very good. Forward and up. Keep going. That requires, again, that upward rotation. And then the opportunity here is for just a little bit of an arch, a little bit of a back bend. So reach up and then arching a little bit back. So you get this heart opener, but keep your palms facing each other. Just a couple of breaths here, maybe a little wiggle through the mid-back, through the shoulders, maybe reach one arm. And then forward, all the way down. Rest your hands on your legs, take 5 breaths in the nose, out the nose. Tasting, sensing, feeling, if anything has shifted. And if you've done these exercises with attentiveness, something has shifted, probably for the better. Now, again, making sure you're at the edge of your chair. Bring your feet just a little bit behind the knees rather than right out in the 90-degree. Make it a little tighter angle. Folding at the hips like we did before, and our first gesture is forward. So now we stay in our little squat. Then it's push down, and notice how that downward push sends us up. We don't have to pull ourselves and hold ourselves, just root correctly. Then fold at the hips like you're bowing, stick your butt behind your heels. Notice the knees haven't bent yet. The butt is in position, then we sink and bend the knees, and you arrive. And there's so many people I see who sort of lose that awareness, and they bend their knees first, and then they try to sit down, and it's like falling backwards. So this is getting through that. We fold, and the first gesture is forward. Then push down to send you up. Fold at hips, push butt behind you. Then sinking, control, 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 control. And arrive. Again. Now, 3 squats where you sink and rise without ever sitting. Sit 80-90% down, and then rise up. So get very good at this center of the body, hips, being the main spot where the power is generated. You cannot lose this mobility of the back, otherwise so many problems arise from losing that. On this last one, sink and hold 5 breaths. This is an experience of isometric contraction, which when we hold a position that requires us to sort of activate muscles in order to not fall down or land in your chair, it's called isometric, where all the muscles sort of hold on and grip and create a charge, a buildup of heat and warmth and power in the body. And push through the earth and rise up. Now we're standing. Tai Chi squats. So that's like yoga and fitness squats. Tai Chi squats are an awareness of, go ahead and lock your knees back. This is not how you want to stand normally, but let's do it anyway. Lock them back and notice how that forces the tail up a little bit, kind of throws the body into this like bone-on-bone support system, and then take that away. Let your knees slightly open and bend. Let your tail feel like it's dropping towards the floor, like you're sort of dipping your tail down into the earth. And then push into the earth and rise up. Notice that you could rise up and be fine and then go too far and sort of lock the knees back. This is what a lot of people do, is they just stand with locked knees, and it makes weak muscle groups around our joints. And then open the knees and just sink softly, releasing through. And notice that's like a water hydraulic spring that you're loading and then unloading. And now don't go too far. Don't lock your knees. Just sink and rise. Now we do what's called billowing the clouds with that movement. So sink a little. The hands come up and circle out. And then as we sink, we scoop the clouds. As we rise, the hands come up and float out. And then we sink and scoop and rise. Now let's exaggerate it a bit for large movement. But experience circles. Circular. Round, graceful, beautiful movement. Rise. See if the arms can even really start to express themselves all the way through the fingers. You might even go up above the shoulders. I'm going to turn at a slight angle so you can see The arms are staying in front and creating these billowing cloud gestures. And can you execute, we'll do 3 more, can you execute this movement with less, what they call li, which is tension strength, gripping and holding, but instead like fluid, water, grace, ease. So we're sinking to load the spring up, and then we rise and let that rise go all the way through. This body is connected, this one body. Last one, rise. And release down. Good. So ideally what you'll feel now is open legs, open knees, hips. The shoulders are a little bit looser. Now we do what's called sinking chi to wash the organs. Before we do it, feel this ability to rock your weight towards the balls of your feet, come away from the balls of your feet, and rock back towards your heels. So when I do something with my hand, that doesn't mean you're supposed to do it, right? I'm sort of gesturing and using this as a teaching tool. But sometimes you are supposed to do it. So if I say this, you don't have to do that with your hand. You're rocking forward, and then you're rocking back towards your heels. Now, as you do that, rock forward, and with these relaxed arms, can they float a little bit forward? Notice I'm not picking them up and holding them. I'm just letting them go a little forward. Then as I rock back, the hands follow, and then they just keep going and going, and they go behind the body a little, like swinging pendulum. Rock forward and let them float forward. And then rock back, and they float back. One more. Rock forward. And rock back. Now as you rock back, arms go up. Rock forward, the arms sweep out in a gathering gesture. You're dipping into the distance. Then rock back, the hands come to the mouth, like you're washing something in through the mouth, down the front seam of the body to the belly button. This is our tank, our holding tank. Then point your fingers down, and like we did our squat, stick your butt out, start to sit the tushy, and the hands glide down the fronts of the knees and shins, and let your back just gently round open. Just gently round open, but sink that tail. Now push into the earth and come all the way back up to standing. Your spine kind of stack, 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 and you're vertical. Let's do it again. Arms go up. We rock forward. So there's this tipping a little bit forward. And then we rock back, and the hands wash to the mouth, and then down this front line to the belly. Then we sit the tush round the back. It's called sinking chi to wash organs. And get as low as comfortable. Don't go too far. And then push into the earth and rise up with even less li or grip or tension, but just feel that fluid integrity. One more. Arms. We rock forward, this sweeping, gathering gesture. Rock back in this drinking in quality. Drink in, down. And then start to sit the tush. The hands glide down. Open and rainbow open, all those channels in the back of the spine. Push into the earth and rise. Now, shift your body weight over to your right leg. And remember what I described as that hydraulic spring-loadedness, that little bit of a bend, sink in. Let your right leg do all the supporting. The left leg, you feel it empties. Can you swivel it a little bit at the hip? Then shift. Now, can the left leg be the full leg, right leg empty? Test it. Can you do a little swivel of the leg? Notice I'm not moving anything else. I'm just letting that leg be empty. Then shift. So that's full, this is empty. Shift. One more of each. Notice that when I shift, I'm not doing this at all. I'm bringing the whole of my body over, letting this leg support it. This is empty. Shift. Now this leg is my support leg. This one's empty. Now shift and turn the pelvis just a few degrees right. Keep it turned right as you shift left, turn the hips left. A few degrees left. then shift right, turn right. What you'll notice, if relaxed, as you relax more and more, the shoulders and head and rib cage and arms move because they are relaxed and connected to the pelvis. So I don't have to independently move my arms so much. I let them move because of this shift and turn. Boom, the hands wash through. Shift and turn, hands wash through. It's called standing bear, washing paws in the stream. So let's do just one paw. Put right hand behind your back. This is called brush knee. Put one hand behind your back. The other hand is out in the water. Shift right, turn right, sweep across the water. Turn that hand around, shift, sweep across the water. So I'm going to come close. Really pay attention if you're, especially if you're newer. See that what my hand is doing and what it's not doing. It's not just kind of haphazardly flinging about. It's comfortable, it's relaxed, it's right in front of the body. We're sweeping the lake and brushing the knee. One more, sweep the lake. Now, brush the knee, let it go up. Look how high my shoulder went. Turn the arm, fold at the elbow. Now it's a loaded spring. We shift, turn, and push. Let the hand dip down into the water. Shift the weight over to that left leg. Turn the hips. That moves the arm, and I just get out of the way. Let the arm go. Roll and fold. Now it's shift and push. So just watching that, I could stay frozen and do this independent, or I could, as one, my whole body fluid. Whole body fluid. And this is what is magical about Tai Chi, is when we get out of the way, we find a center point, a fulcrum, and we operate from that center, this fluid body. Now let's reverse what the hand is doing for the other movement. Sweep the lake, rise up like vapor. Now you're a cloud in the sky. Shift left, turn left, cloud. What do clouds do? Rain into the lake. Shift and turn, sweep the lake. Lakes turn to vapor. Shift, turn, cloud. Clouds rain down. Shift, turn, lake, vapor. Shift, turn, cloud, rain, and bring it down. Now, bring the right hand out, sweep across. Let's do that whole little series on this side. Just a few, just lay or a brush knee, and sweep the leg. Notice again, the opportunity is move from center. The arm is just like a tail. It's a tail, just swishing along. But where is your center? The Tai Chi idea is that it's 2.5 inches deep to the belly button. So finding that point, and then, right? Now let's do brush knee and push. So we shift, brush knee, float the arm, roll and fold it. Now we shift, turn, push, let it go through and down. Shift, turn, brush knee, crane wing, roll and fold, and then shift, turn, push, down. Shift, turn, brush, crane wing, shift, turn, push, and down. Now, sweep the lake. Lake turns to vapor. Vapor becomes cloud as we shift and turn. Cloud, rain. Rain, lake. Lake, vapor. Vapor, cloud. Cloud, rain. 2 more. Center. Relaxed, open chambers, not compartmentalized. And bring that hand down. Now both hands out in front. Sweep, sweep, center. Crane wing. Roll and fold. This is called sink chi to the belly. The hands come down. and hover in front of the belly about 3-4 inches, just hovering there. This helps us remind our mind that's our center, behind the navel. Breathe. Are your knees open? Are you feeling the balls of each foot, those roots? Are your shoulders relaxed? Is the crown suspended while everything else is dropping and releasing and opening? And then hands come down. Now, shift to your left leg. Turn so your right foot points a little bit out, 5, 10 degrees, maybe 15. Shift over into that turned out leg and bring your left foot just a little bit in front. And shift forward into that front leg. Turn your hips forward so chest and everything points straight ahead. So now sit back into that back leg. And then forward into the front leg. Back into your back leg. And just notice same feelings in terms of empty upper body. Rather than holding up here and now I'm all top heavy, the more and more we loosen everything up, the more you can be empty up top, and then you feel this springy power in your lower body. Now bring your hands up in front and palms face forward-ish, meaning you're not cranking the joints to be forward, but they're not facing in, so forward-ish. It's kind of round, right? So now as you shift forward, and I'll come a little closer so you can see the hands, as you shift forward, you let that forward gesture create a push. But notice I didn't lock my elbows. Then turn the palms around. Now notice I don't pull in first. I shift back, and that creates this impetus for the hands to come back, this sort of elasticity. Turn the palms to face forward. Shift forward, and then out go the hands because of the shift. Turn the palms, shift back, and that creates this elasticity. Let's do this again. Shift. And a cool way to think of this is like ocean waves. The belly is the depths of the ocean. That's where this wave comes from. And the fingertips are the foamy tips at the shore. Same thing here. It's the depths of the ocean that draw that back. And then shift and push. And back. Let's do 2 more. Shift and push. So you're getting to exhibit and manifest the fluid oceanic nature. Be like water. And be like this aspect of water that's flushing and flowing. It's cleaning your nervous system. Last one here, and then we're going to switch sides. So bring the hands back. Notice you're full in your back leg, empty in your front. Step your front leg back with toes turned out a little bit. And then straighten everything up and just drop your arms. So stand for a moment with nothing held. Then fill up that left leg to empty the right. Step the right foot forward, keeping a little bit of width left to right, and then as in not letting the foot do what I just did here. So you keep a little width. Shift forward, hips face forward, shift back. Full 70% forward. Full back 70% forward. Now add the hands. Push. Receive. This is a sort of a rudimentary experience of Tai Chi, what they call push hands, where you engage with another person's body. And the emphasis is not on how much power can I tighten up and then push someone over. It's a sensitivity training. They call it listening hands. So what you're working on doing is listening to the intent of the other person and developing such a sensitivity that any push that they give causes you to just shift back away from it. And when they leave, you stay stuck to them and you just move towards them. And this idea of being able to deflect 1,000 pounds of force coming at you with 4 ounces because you're so sensitive that you just and forward. So it's a different idea of strength. Strength isn't brittleness and hardness. It's sensitivity, softness, plumpness, suppleness, pliability. And that's what we're getting to experience here in many ways. Now we're going to switch sides each time. So sit back, hands stay high, step back, toes point a little bit out, straighten up to about 50-50, drop everything out of the body. Then sink through the right leg, the hands come up to get ready to push and step a little bit forward. Shift and do this Tai Chi push. Shift back, do this Tai Chi draw. You're drawing, inviting something towards you. Step that left foot back, toes turn out, straighten everything up, empty. So this is an important piece because so often we're holding, drop everything out of your body. Then sink through the left leg, the hands float up in this little holding forwardish position, step. Shift forward, let the hands flood out like the tips of the wave. Then sit back, receive, draw towards you. Step back, toes turned out, straighten everything up, empty completely. Now, all in one move, can you sink, rise, hands, and step? So all that happens kind of simultaneously. Shift and push. Sit back, receive. As soon as that front leg is empty, step it back, empty. Straighten up, everything drops. Totally drop it. Let the arms hang, shoulders hang, everything empty. There you go. Then from that total empty, what's the most effortless way to execute this move? I just executed that with zero tension because this plump, open quality of the body, this water nature, you just kind of drop and float, shift and push, sit back, receive. Let's do two more each side. Drop everything out. From that empty body, just sink through the left leg, hands come up, shift and get a little push. Sit back and receive. Empty, empty, soft, soft, soft. So soft as you drop. When you learn how to soften that tension, then, especially if you're dealing with PD, right, which you guys have going on at differing levels, then you get to engage directly at the nervous system level and work on soft, easy work. Once you get the strength or Li out of the way, that rigidity. So you get the rigidity out of the way, and then you're just this brain through the nervous system working on polishing the pathways, working on de-stressing so that you can execute movements with zero stress. And that's what you're training in Tai Chi. Last one, drop the hands, and let's parallel the feet. 3 more of those, sink chi to wash organs. So this is sort of like the bookend. Rock a little forward, dip into the distance. Rock back as if washing in through the mouth, down the front line of the body to the navel, through the navel, open hips, open knees, open ankles, release tension out of the body. Now when you come up, can you not bring with you that grip? Can you come up and just be that liquid hydraulic system? Do it again, crane wing. So we're cleaning out pathways. Rock back gently and drink in. Wash in through the mouth, down through the belly to that center, 2.5 inches behind the navel. Sitting the tush, releasing, letting each of the 24 vertebrae open. Let them open, and then rise. Totally relaxed. Last one. Washing in, inviting in that life force that is all around us, connecting all of us. It's that undifferentiated, sort of like the stem cell of the universe. This is the idea of chi, and that we can harvest it, we can align with it. sink the chi to the belly as our closing. Your hands go up, roll, and fold. And this is this moment where we bring our attention, our mind, our gaze, and our listening ability to that point 2.5 inches behind the navel. This is called middle embrace. Hands are right in front of the belly. Breathe. Notice, where are you clamping? Where are you holding? Soften that. Soften further still. And notice my hands are not touching my stomach right now. Some of you are actually on your stomach. That's a different thing. So feel this moment with the hands just hovering in front. And then we place one hand on the navel, other hand on top of that hand, and we finish with what's called the large open, large close. Begin swirling from small to larger. That's 4, 5. So the navel is the center. 6, 7, 8. We do 18 circles, getting broader, wider, spiraling out. Your hands aren't even on the body, but they're like magnets, inviting the life force to spread throughout the belly. Spread throughout the belly to all those organs that need it. As you do number 18, the hands come down. Then we do 12 in the opposite direction to regather. To, instead of let it stay spread like an inflated balloon, we bring it back in and deflate it. Let it come all the way in and consolidate. 8, 9. When you get around 10, it's very small circles right around the navel. Right around the navel, and seal. And then last time, sink chi to belly. And seal. And release your hands. Be at ease. Have a seat if that's appropriate for you. Make sure your chair is where you think that it is. I like to stick around for a few questions if people have them. I know that there's somewhere else you may need to be, another class or something like that. So feel free to chat with me for a bit or wander off.